People use food as a way of emotional regulation. It's a form of comfort, it's a form of entertainment, and it's also part of a ritual of getting together with family and friends and sharing in a good time. You know, food it's so primal. You know, way back, sitting around the campfire and sharing food. It's such a bonding experience. So the reality is, people have probably been using food to avoid feelings and thoughts that come up. So like every time you feel sad or you feel bad or there's something going on, to avoid that, you go and you use your drug of choice, which is food. Right? And that was probably the reason in the first place that made it so difficult to lose the weight, because I just cannot stop myself. And the reason that is the case is because it's so connected to their strategy to make sure that they don't have to face painful thoughts and feelings. And this is how they manage that. A few people who've gotten the weight loss surgery, the gastric sleeve, now they're unable to eat as much as they used to, and they've lost heaps of weight, but they're actually gotten depressed. But now that they can't do that, they come face to face with those feelings. They don't know how to feel good without food. They don't know how to face and process these things without using their drug of choice. When someone gets the weight loss surgery, the relationship with food was just never addressed. Essentially, we're just eating till they're completely full and completely satisfied, sometimes oversatisfied, feeling sick almost. And then they stop. And that's just always how it's done. Always eating according to how much they're wanting or desiring at the time. And then the strategy to lose weight in this case is that stomach cut out, and then now they're still doing that. Then they're eating till they're completely full and feeling sick, and then they stop. So then, a lot of the time what happens is the people put the weight, they sort of, over time, the stomach stretches out again, and then they can fit more food in. And so, but there's still the strategy the entire time has been eat as much as you can until you feel sick, or you feel absolutely oversatisfied. And then when they start to put the weight back on again, once the stomach stretches, the strategy never changed and never actually addressed the food regulation habits, through the act of, thoughts and feelings and behaviors. They just force themselves to have to eat less. So you can see how you miss out on skills that are built, the self-regulation skills, and the confidence and self-worth that comes from that. So I think there's a lot that we can learn from this. Going into our own psyche and our own inside of us and figuring out, what is my relationship with food? What is it that is driving me to eat and preventing me from being able to control myself around that, to apply any self-regulation, to use any discipline, to use any intention, even though I want it so badly and yet I can't stop. There must be something deeper going on here, and addressing that, because even if you were able to hack the body, and that's the ultimate hack, right? Cut out an organ, right? You couldn't eat even if you wanted to. And you want to sometimes, right? Like eating's fun, and again, especially bonding with others as well. There are times where it's appropriate to do that. So you don't want to remove the ability to do that, but like if you're doing that, you don't get the self-regulation that you achieve through the process of doing it. You don't get that confidence from having done that, applying yourself to something difficult and achieving that. There's so much to be gotten from the process of losing weight, and and maybe along the way you're going to have to sort of face your demons, and figure out a way to do self-soothing, because you got to feel good, right? You got to have a way of feeling good, but we need to do it in a calorie-free way, possibly, so something that's healthy rather than bad for us. So working on our emotional regulation strategies, working on how we comfort ourselves, and how we do bonding. Maybe we could do some exercise together rather than eat together, or some sort of activity, something, painting, or whatever the case may be. We could come together without having to consume lots and lots of calories. Sometimes just hacking away an organ doesn't address the actual problem. So you just avoided having to face what needed to be faced to actually achieve that sense of self-worth. And maybe if you're someone who's watching this, who's in this exact position and you feel this exact way, it's not just sort of it's thrown off your chemistry and now there's some weird physical thing going on. There's some deep work to be done here, you know. And if you face those things and you look at them eye to eye and you really dig deep and find that new relationship with food and relationship with yourself. I think your relationship with food's inevitably changed now. So maybe that's been good for you. Maybe that's been good to force you to face these things without just stuff in your face, you know, because you can't anymore. One thing I would say here is that they did genuinely think that it was just the only reason I'm eating is because it's food and, you know, everyone does it and everyone's been getting the weight loss surgery and it's been going well. It wasn't something that was obvious that it's actually because of my relationship with food and the fact that there were things that I was eating to avoid doing the deep inner work. So that can be really useful, whether you talk to a coach or a therapist or you just read some books, do some shadow work. You probably find that's where the real value that you can get, the real change that you can achieve is through doing that deep inner work rather than, you know, it's this external thing, which is the weight, isn't the problem or wasn't the problem, was never the problem. It's actually the avoidance of these things through food was the reason why the body ended up that way, you know. Because in the end, the reality is all weight loss comes down to a reduction in calories. You know, and I think this is a funny example when you think about it with the weight loss surgery, because, you know, it's not actually losing an organ that makes you lose weight. You know, the surgery doesn't make you lose weight. It's just that as a result, after that surgery, over the course of time, you're forced to consume less calories. You know, so still, even with the weight loss surgery, whether it be any diet, whether it be a keto or a fasting or a shake diet or whatever wonderful diet someone's on, you know, that like all the surgeries, all of them always 100% of the time come down to a reduction in calories that makes the weight move. So you can achieve that without losing an organ or part of one. So, you know, if you can, you get to, you know, if you do it without that, you get to get all the benefit of that character building stuff that requires maintenance, but you've transformed as a person through that, you know, rather than just sort of hacking your body. Which isn't quite as fulfilling and can end up depressing you. And look, this might be appropriate for some people, this surgery, but doing the inner work is still something that needs to be done. Just understanding this is not me condemning anyone who's done it. This is not saying anything like that. It's just observations that we can learn from these people who've gone through this. And it talks to, and it's a great example. It's a great example of the fact of, you know, when just losing the weight doesn't make you happy. It's doing the deep inner work, doing the personal character transformation. That is what produces a life that creates happiness, a lifestyle that makes you happy. Hopefully you got something out of that. Hopefully that spoke to some of you. Maybe some of you are thinking about getting the surgery, you know, or know someone who's been in the same situation. And if that was helpful, like, subscribe, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time.